So, you are probably all wondering where I've been at. Why I say I am back uploading and then take a break from doing so randomly. I have good reasons, and I am going to be completely honest with my explanation. Before I begin, there's a few things. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel for insightful content and random game streams. And you gotta comment your thoughts and share the video to everybody that you know. One last thing, this video is specifically just for my day ones or the people that have supported me and enjoy my content. This is for you all. Anyways, I have always wanted to leave my hometown since my early 20s, and being in my mid 30s now, I finally did so. But what took me so long? Sick relatives and a promise to a dying elder at the age of 13. I stayed with my grandma, my mom, her husband, and my sister, but it was not a free ride. I helped with all the bills as well as putting food on the table, as well as assisting them with things like getting around and everything else in my car. This is not to make it seem like I paid 100% of the bills, but put it like this. In my new place living alone, I will be spending about the same as I did living with them. Again, it is no shade or bad blood towards them. I just know that as a man, that is what you are supposed to do regardless of situations. My grandma and mom also do not have the greatest health, so I was trying to make sure they are okay with my own eyes, especially my grandma. So the past 5 years have been horrible for me. Without going into too much of a backstory, I quit 2 jobs due to unnecessary drama as well as power trips, which I do not tolerate. My circle of friends and family went from a circle to barely a period. In fact, it was basically a dotted smudge by the time I left the area. I was almost hospitalized due to my depression as well as the living situation being complete crap for the past couple years, which had nothing to do with my family but everything to do with where we lived. Past all that, the straw that broke the camel's back is when this one herpes infested fat hairy broad and her slow gossiping family slandered me. I will link the story down below of me dealing with her, but it really boggled my mind the stuff I heard about me. First and foremost, they lied and said that I have a disease, which I do not. In fact, I was getting tested yearly or in between partners to have my papers on deck. I also got tested with my last intercourse partner together, and she verified I was clean, so guess what happened? We smashed unprotected. The way that I love it. I thought word would spread that I was clean by those women, but it did not. The only reason why I know they were spreading that I was infected was because 2 out of 3 of the women I smashed after I wanted to see my test results. I never had to go through that before, and I knew where it came from. So the third woman I basically offered to get tested, and when we did, we had intercourse unprotected. These people around town still made it all into a joke. The reason why they did was because this slow, fat, hairy, herpes-infested broad would repeatedly laugh at me whenever I saw her. I ignored her for months, but then admittedly my anger erupted one day and I blasted her in an online post and continued to do so on my private IG stories, which we all know after 24 hours they're gone anyway. I was beginning to be manic because I thought that was pure evil. Not only did you take advantage of me bending over backwards for you, but you laugh at me after I told you clearly that I was worried about having what you had. I panicked immediately during the whole time I was getting tested. The entire time she thought it was the funniest thing ever. But after those posts I made, her family started joining in. Then random people I did not know started doing the same. These people took pics of me, my car, and my license plate. People would then begin to heckle me whenever I drove through the city, cut me off in traffic. I started getting rude service to the point I didn't even want to shop at or eat at those places anymore, nor give them my business. I would see people see me and get all animated and cross the room to make it obvious that they are gossiping about me, like literally looking over at me, cheesing and smirking and all that, both of them. You know what it looks like. Folks would just sit there and stare like they never saw a black man before, which was very annoying, but whatever. And guess how many people came up to me and asked questions or even tried to confront me? 0. The most they would do is call themselves mugging me, which I would just ignore them and walk right past them every time. Not out of fear, but because I know the law. If they really had an issue, I was willing to fight anybody that approached me aggressively. And I made it known to her weak brother that, in fact, after 2 years, I said the most out of character stuff I could think of to get him to pull up and fight me. He never did. But him and his siblings pulled up to talk about me to everybody that they knew. It was just some weird kiddie shit, to be honest. And I have no respect for nobody that listened to them. And of course, no respect for those people either. Fuck them. Not one person asked to see my chart or even asked if what was being said was true. They all just sat there and poked at me hoping that I would crash out or sit there and make everything out to be a joke. Even in professional settings, like I would be with my grandma in the hospital, they would be trying to feed into it and make it obvious. I'd be trying to pick up medicine at a pharmacy for my grandma, they would still be doing that. I would be in a therapist's office trying to get help. They will be up in there trying to get a reaction out of me. So this is the kind of people that we're dealing with. Not knowing that after all the ridicule I endured at this point, y'all, if the test came back dirty, then I would be in prison, real talk. That would have pushed me over the edge, and I would have smiled in my mugshot showing all my teeth. But since I am not burnt nor have an STI, I just let things slide. I would go to therapist appointments and my therapist would tell me to ignore them. That I was a good person and everything else because, truthfully, I would rather be nice to people instead of being an asshole. But over the past year, I slowly felt myself regressing to that more violent side of me. When I was younger, I want to say in between ages 16 through about 23, I was very aggressive. In fact, if you said anything I didn't like, I was actually checking you in person, not online, not in the messenger. When I see you, I want to know what's up. That's what I was on. And my people even know that. But anyway, I started getting a lot of bad thoughts and I was starting to cuss people out more and more. Cause damn, how long is this going to go? Y'all laughing and poking at me because you think I have herpes cause she has herpes and I mess with her. None of y'all even care to see my chart, so why would you even care about me in general? It makes no sense. It's just stupid. And the answer is that my hometown is a literal zoo, and it's in the name. Kalamazoo, Michigan to be exact. If you Google the national crime rate and STI rates among cities, we are in the top 3 in Michigan as well as in the top 30 overall. The people there reflected. There are some good people there, admittedly, and I love them. I remember what they look like. They're good people, so if y'all see this by a stroke of luck, I'm not talking to you. But a lot of the people there are miserable, dick-eating followers. They are mad because they are broken, or they are mad because they cannot leave the area for whatever reason. So a lot of them fall victim to crime and become a criminal themselves. A lot of the people there have STIs going off of stats. But apparently I was the main topic for a dude mad that he caught herpes from a fling, when I never even contracted it. I explained why I was mad. We had stopped talking in March. She hit me up in April wanting to talk. Long story short, I said, if I had known you was all, I would have fucked you and ghosted you after she just kept playing with me. Her weak brother that I went to school with and actually saw me fight before, but he refused to give my best friend Josh a fair one at the party. This dude tried to check me. Me and dude was cool, so it really threw me off when he wouldn't even allow me to explain how his sister is using people, acting like she liked them, and wants something long term while allowing you to put your body at risk, then ditch you randomly. Never even got to explain it. He went straight to the fake tough guy acting. Since I don't argue on the phone, I hung up on him. That same night, I stepped outside and both of their cars circled where I live. But they didn't stop. Then every time I saw her, she thought it was funny after that. When I genuinely cared and bent over backwards for her, which y'all can see what I did in the video I'll link because I don't want to go into all the same details. And I started having feelings for her that year, but I still look at her as the worst woman I ever dated in my life, period. I have been through a lot with women, having a baby put on me and slandering me as a deadbeat when the paternity test proved I wasn't the father, but people still believed I was a deadbeat for years. Going through forced baby unalivings and fetuses because I'm against that, but I try not to judge people if they go through it because I don't know the circumstances, your business. Being lied on saying I hit a past girlfriend when I have never, on Yahshua. Forgive me for putting that on you, Yahshua. I know I'm not supposed to, but for real, I've never hit a woman in my life. Not even an open palm slap or even a shove or a push. I literally would just walk away if a woman hits me. I'm not going, unless like you coming at me like a weapon and I really have to put you down. If you just have your bare hand and you attacking me, I'm not going to strike you. That's just not in me to do so. I'll take my busted lip or whatever and just leave the area and just not mess with you if we was together. And past all that, now this herpes infested, fat, hairy, dirty mouth broad just goes around lying on me, acting like I got a disease, acting like I was trying to force her to be with me, which is a lie. Look, my thing is, I'm all about honesty. If she had told me that this was just a fling and not to be taken serious, then that is fine. No harm, no foul. In fact, all three women that I had sex with, I can't even say that. In fact, all three women that I had intercourse with, it was just flings. We was just chilling, enjoying each other company. It wasn't meant to be serious, and we made that known up front. She didn't. So if you tell me you want something long term, serious and long term, I take that to heart. No, I don't think that you owe me a relationship or anything, but what I do feel like you owe me is communication. She didn't communicate hardly anything to me. She just cut me out randomly directly after I called feelings. Feelings I wasted in that situation. So yeah, that pissed me off because it came out like she was just trying to get whatever she wanted out of me and then ditch me. But the way she did it was making it seem as though she rocked with me and liked me. Meanwhile, her sister and brothers are telling her I'm cool people while I was seeing her, which is why I even talked to her anyway because of them. Gave her a chance even with an STI because I was cool with her siblings. That's it. But she turned out to be a terrible person. A terrible person that I wouldn't even said nothing about. But she kept poking me, and then she just enlisted other people to keep poking. Man, fuck them people, man. And I apologize because usually I don't be cussing in my videos, but I really have a strong disdain for those people. I've been praying to get this off of my heart, but right now I got a long way to go. So between the shitty people that follow baseless rumors, the winters being like half the year with 3 months being polar bear temperatures, the horrible crime rate and STI rates, I don't see myself ever living in Kalamazoo, Michigan ever again. I got turned off so much from the area that I stopped dating or trying to smash women there over the past year. I stopped being my usual friendly self and just kept to myself. One of the funniest parts was there was a rumor going around that I was a bum, that I couldn't support myself in my 30s, so I stayed home for an easier life. That's some dumbass shit. My own mom will laugh at you and tell you that that is a lie. I have a 790 credit score, plus I have a good savings account. I ain't gonna give y'all the amount, but just know I could survive off my savings alone for 6 months without even lifting a finger. The car I drive is mine, and every outfit you see me in, I bought myself. I was never broke. I just did not want to live in an apartment in Kalamazoo. I told myself that if I ever get an apartment, it would be outside the city, and I kept my word, dumbass people. And the most jarring part is that I didn't hide, nor could I. They all knew where I lived, but never pulled up or anything, but they would be in the complex to where I live in another building somewhere. I can't stand them people, and they are most likely going to burn in hell with that fat broad coochie. Fuck Kalamazoo, bunch of bottom feeding, dick eating followers. If I ever make it or get some money to the point I can give back, I ain't giving back shit. Y'all better ask Derek Jeter, cause why? Cause fuck you. That's why. So yeah, that's why I've been uploading sporadically and taking long gaps in between uploads. My mind would be at a dark place and I just couldn't focus how I wanted to. Cause I was really on a thread and about to start swinging on people. Even my own people said, it was like, you gonna explore, you need to move. So I just moved. Real talk. I ain't gonna say where I moved to or whatever. Very few people know. And I'm gonna keep it like that. Win, lose, or draw, I was swinging on people. They was gonna catch these hands, y'all, for real. And since most people in that area are scared shooters, I probably would have gotten banged or possibly 6 feet under the ground. Just real coward behavior and foolish people. I cannot stand it. And that's the main reason why I wasn't swinging on people. Because for one, they can easily play the victim if I cross the room and then we get to fight and they could be like, well, it's self-defense. I wouldn't even say nothing. They could just lie and then I have a record and be behind bars. Or because hardly none of the people, I ain't gonna say people, none of the dudes in that area even wants to throw hands. They'll just use that and when you run up on them, they'll just use that as an excuse to bang. And it's just wild because it's like a couple shootings every week there. And when I say a couple shootings, I mean people actually getting a bullet. Even in the complex I was living in, I would hear guns going off and then I would hear tires squealing. You know what I'm saying? Like It's just horrible. And I know, like, over like the past month or two, there was like this black dude that he took a police cruiser and took them on like a high speed chase. And when the sheriff was apprehending them, the sheriff, police officer, whatever, was apprehending them, he ended up wrestling his gun away and was about to shoot him in the head, but the gun jammed, so. And on top of that, like, the prosecutors are a joke. Like, I literally was at a stoplight, bad car accident, and my car got totaled because some dude around 11 in the morning, 11:30 in the morning, decided that he wanted to, drive and drink about 2 times over the limit. He crashes into me, completely stopped. My car gets totaled. I ended up going to the hospital, ended up going to PT for about a year straight. And keep in mind, still getting heckled, still, being treated like trash or whatever, all because of her. I lost all my strength. And don't you know that he dodged court? He dodged court twice. The third time, they literally wouldn't let him bail out, but literally, it was like a couple months of us actually trying to go to court. And then when we did end up going to court, he just pleaded whatever they was going to give him. Guess what he got? Because he sat, forever, how long he did when he was bailing himself out or whatever. They only gave him like 3 weeks of jail. So he totaled my car, almost killed me, because literally, if I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, I got pushed out into the intersection, and they literally said if there was another car merging or whatever, I could have died. That's what they said. But he, and that's just an example, not even just an isolated incident. Literally, you have to, do what that black man did, endanger police officers or actually off somebody. But little stuff, like, you could literally, assault with intent to, off somebody. No, you'll only sit down for a few months, if that. And then you can bail out. And then a lot of people don't even serve that. It's just crazy. Michigan is trash anyway. Forget Kalamazoo. I'm never living nowhere in Michigan. But yeah, past all that, man, I didn't want to put out a lot of negative content with how my mind was. That's all I was brainstorming. And I know my channel does have negative videos, but it does have positive videos too. I try to do that. And some of the negative videos are more of me analyzing, what's going on. Like, sometimes whatever you're analyzing with the world or with music or mental health or video game, whatever the case may be, sometimes it's not positive. You're just analyzing what's going on. So, but what I was planning on putting out, like, just looking at like the video ideas I had, that would have like tanked my channel. I think a lot of people would have appreciated it, but at the same time, that wasn't the direction I wanted to go. So that's exactly why. And plus, like, wasn't in the mood to stream. I just wasn't. That stream took like a lot out of me, because like I said, my mind was in like a disarray. But I do want to finish Bloodborne. I know that game like the back of my hand. I just showed you I beat the first 4 bosses on like basically, first tries. I died to like a regular enemy, but expect more streams. I do want to stream Grand Theft Auto 4, before GTA 6 comes out. So look out for that. And also, I think one of my next videos that I'm prioritizing is the Resident Evil 9 review. I wanted to wait 6 months after it came out to, basically drop like my thoughts on it as a long-time fan. And, basically talk about it after all the gas is gone, all the hype, approach it with a level head. I still think it's a great game, but it has issues. But yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, for real. I appreciate everybody. I didn't really lose any subs, and I really do appreciate it. I don't know when this is coming out. I'm gonna try to edit it or whatever. It's probably gonna be a light edit. You know what I'm saying? YouTube is kind of going crazy because the last few videos that I uploaded, was very discouraging. I didn't get pushed. Now, don't get me wrong. Y'all really interacted in my community. Y'all always there. I really appreciate y'all. When y'all see the video, y'all click, and that's what it tells me. But YouTube's algorithm just wasn't pushing me to new people. And that's what really discouraged me, to put out content as well. But I know I said it all. I know I said this all the time, but I am back. I'm in a new area. I'm feeling very refreshed. I do got to get a new arm thing for my mic. But yeah, I expect more content very soon. I'm really just going to be trying to do what I can to keep this channel afloat. I rock with y'all. Thank y'all so much again, because without y'all, I ain't nothing. And without the Most High, we ain't nothing. So, let's work together and spread positive vibes. Real talk. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Have a great weekend. Much love. And y'all know my slogan. Keep your head low. Your family close. Subscribe for more. Like the video. And share it to everybody that you know. Much love, everybody. Feels good, man. Feels good. Face signing out.